What's up guys, it's Twister, and today I'm going to have a really interesting life story for you guys, but first I wanted to apologize for the really shitty gameplay. I just got home and I just sat down and needed some gameplay footage. I saw that I was out, and I didn't really feel like hooking up my Xbox and stuff, so I have this CSGO gameplay footage for you. So I don't do too good. I end up going negative at the end of the game, but that's not what this commentary is about. Today we're talking about the first time I ever smoked weed, guys. This is a really interesting experience for the first time of me being high, and it was actually pretty funny the way I reacted when I was high and after that, and the hours all the way until the next day. So this was almost in the summertime. This was the end of May, early June of my 8th grade year, and that year was a weird time because we had a lot of snow days that year, and we ended up getting out June 4th instead of like May 20th was the day we were supposed to get out. We were still in school. We weren't doing a lot. We were just doing some bullshit like work assignments and then watching movies in every class, because what else do you do in 8th grade? So on the weekend, me and my friends would hang out at my friend's house, Fury Repress's house, and we will just hang out, watch movies and stuff like that. Well, my friend always, one of my mutual friends was actually one of my best friends now. His name's Jake. He would always come over high and shit, or like drunk or shit like that, just always fucked up, which he was a sophomore at the time. And so I always like wanted to know what it was like, because I've heard they were drinking over there sometimes, but never really. But I knew like one time Jake smoked over there, but not with any of my friends. I wanted to know what it was like to be high, so I hit him up one day. I was like, yo, you want to smoke? I have $20. Which I didn't know how any of the weed shit worked, by the way. This was my first time ever smoking weed. I just had $20. And he's like, yeah man, sure. And then him and his friend came over. They took advantage of me. I completely smoked them up. I paid the whole amount of money. Except he brought some blunt sticks, which I thought that was the only way to smoke then. So they came over, brought those blunt sticks upstairs in my attic, which no one goes in anymore, which I still smoke in today. I just smoked in there yesterday. It's the perfect place to smoke, guys. It's up in my attic, and no one ever goes up there. There's a chair, a couple of tables that we set up, and then we just chief in there, and that's the place we always get high, because the smell never gets out of there. No one ever goes up there, and it's really huge, and it's just really cool. So we were up there. He rolls that blunt, and we're listening like this Taylor Gain music, which is my favorite music now that I smoke, but which I didn't know any of it was, and I thought it sounded pretty cool because I never heard any of it before. So I was like, yo, you gotta add that to my Spotify and stuff, because at the time I only had like dubstep and other things on it. We got that over, and we spark it. So I was like, yeah, you could try it first, and then you could teach me how to do it. Which at the time I was smoking a couple cigarettes every now and then, but I don't do any of that stuff anymore. That's terrible for you guys. Do not smoke cigarettes, please. Do not get in that terrible habit, which I was kind of in for a couple weeks, but I stopped that when I realized something was going on real quick. So guys, do not smoke cigarettes, please. Anyways, so he passes the blunt to me, right? And so I like smoked cigarettes before, and you can kind of get that burnt taste in your mouth. But this, man, I took a hit of this. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you don't know the strain of it, it was Girl Scout cookies or cookies. This is like the most dankest weed that was ever around here at the time. So I take it, and the instant it touches my mouth, it fucking burns. And I took like literally like a half a second hit, and I just started coughing everywhere, man. Smoke was going everywhere, and so I didn't really feel it then, but everyone's like, hey, smoke it. And then Jake's like, I ruined his life, which means like I got him the first smoke. So I was like, yeah, whatever, guys, fuck you guys. So you guys kept going. I was over here dying. I was coughing so hard, I felt like I was gonna puke up blood or something. So they had like drinks by me, so I just took a swig of someone else's drink, and so I just sat there. Once it came around, the rotation came around to me again, I took a second hit, and this time it wasn't as bad as my first one. I still coughed like hell, which I barely even cough anymore, but I coughed like a motherfucker still. But after a few minutes, we were kind of sitting in a corner, and there's like there's no way I can describe this to you, but the ceiling was kind of like a triangular shape, kind of, because my dad was renewing it and stuff before everything went bad. And so there's like insulation everywhere in the walls and stuff. But I started staring in this corner and just like started spacing out, like hardcore spacing out. And I got this like feeling of like being like home and like just being okay. Like when you're a kid and you finally get home to your parents after you've been at like the daycare or being babysit or something, like that good feeling of being welcome home. And it was just an amazing feeling. But so I'm just sitting there spacing out, and then I look around and I was like, god damn, like I was fucking high. I was so blown. This was like the major blown if I ever been had in my life, bro. It was fucking crazy. I look around and like, you know, you're just fucking high. And I was like, guys, and they're like what? And they're kind of you know, they're not that high, but they're pretty high by then. But I was fucking blown off 2 hits from a blunt, and I was like, I'm high. And they just start fucking busting up. I'm sitting here laughing as hell, dude, and then we just start listening to music, and then we go downstairs. We eat a shit ton of food, like fucking cereal right out of the box. We just eat like 2 boxes of cereal, and I record them rapping. Then was like the first time I ever heard them rap before, and I couldn't freestyle with this shit then, but they were just rapping, and I was just videotaping them, thinking it was really good, even though it was shit. But we were all high, and yeah, dude. So my grandma was gonna come over at 8 o'clock to check on me since my mom was at home. And so I started tweaking out, and it was only like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was tweaking hard, which this was my first time getting high, so I was super paranoid. So I kicked my friends out at like 4. I was like, get the fuck out, bro, our grandma's coming. So they're like, alright, whatever, and they walked out. And so I made like 2 more bowls of cereal. And so I made like 2 more bowls of cereal, and then I just started tweaking out. I literally ran around my house looking at all the windows until she actually came. So it was about 3.5 hours I was running around my house just tweaking out, waiting for my grandma to get here. It was just the most crazy experience. But so the next day I head to school, and I walk in the room, like the classroom, and I still feel high as fuck. Like, not as high as the day before, of course, but I still feel like kind of stoned. And so I'm in class, and I'm just like looking around, looking at shit, and people are looking at me weird, and I was just like, and they were like, I'm just like, oh, nothing. I just look away. So I really wouldn't advise smoking when you're in 8th grade, but if you do, it's kind of the really good safe haven, because you're not really suspected of smoking weed in 8th grade, and you're not really, like, you know, gonna get in trouble at school, or like, you know, you don't face the harsh penalties, or it's really hard to get caught smoking weed if you're in 8th grade if you do it right. But anyways, guys, that's my life story. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, make sure to hit that like button, and I want to hear your first weed story. Make sure to leave that in the comment section below. This is Twister, and I'm signing out. See you. I don't even know about this. Yeah!